what kind of world we'd be living in if those who are in power, whether it's in our organizations or those sitting in positions of political power,
Yes,
were not so wounded.
it is such an illustration. If you need any evidence of this, I mean, all the suffering in the world is inflicted by unhealed humans, leaders who become somehow end up in leadership roles. And
Uh-huh.
what is in here gets amplified, right? The macrocosm is a reflection of the microcosm. And you're seeing the consequences of that writ large
Uh-huh.
throughout human history and today as well.
I think that comes down to it. Our wounds aren't our fault, but our healing is our responsibility.
Right? A lot of people are ashamed of their traumas. They feel embarrassed to talk about it. And so, a lot of it grows in that darkness and that secrecy. Nothing can heal. So being able to talk about it and bring it into the open, as Mr. Rogers said, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. It doesn't matter what it is, how bad you think it is still within the realm of human experience, and we can deal with it.
Welcome to the Live Brave podcast. I'm Margie Worrell. Here you'll learn how to live and lead with more courage in an increasingly anxious world. If you'd love to bring your bravest self to your biggest challenges and the boldest vision for your life, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Live Brave podcast. Today I want to share with you a conversation I just had with Raj Sisodia, who, along with his co-author, Nalima Bhatt, wrote a book called Healing Leaders. Now, yes, this may be very relevant to you if you are a leader in a position of leadership, but actually this is relevant for every single one of us because, of course, we all have to lead ourselves through life. And so whatever your position, I hope you will enjoy our conversation. I found it really inspiring. They share their 7-step framework for how we can really heal and tend to those wounds that all of us have from our childhoods, whether it was something really traumatic that we experienced or simply a moment in our childhoods, because let's face it, so much of our adult lives are shaped by our childhood experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole lot. And so often those experiences aren't big traumatic moments, but little moments where we wanted our parents' attention and they were just busy with a sibling, where we did something and we really, really wanted them to praise us and we didn't get the praise, where we may have felt like in some moment we weren't good enough or we didn't belong. And so in our conversation today, I unpack with Raj, what is it that creates those self-protective behaviors that end up limiting who we are in our adult lives? Not just who we are, but also how we lead ourselves and how we lead the people around us. My experience working in organizations with people, often in very senior roles, managing hundreds, sometimes thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people underneath them, is that anywhere in ourselves that we haven't really done the inner work derails the decisions that we make in ways that aren't always conscious to us and undermines our ability to connect in a really authentic way with others. And so, whatever you've got going on in your life right now, I know you'll find a lot of value in our conversation today to just look at those parts of you that maybe need a lot of love, need some forgiveness, need some healing. And in doing so, allow you to connect more deeply with others, to influence others in ways that right now maybe you feel frustrated that you keep finding yourself in conflict or you're not able to influence change the way that you want or even to make changes in your own life the way that you'd want. So enjoy our conversation. There's a link in the show notes to their new book called Healing Leaders. I also encourage you, if you haven't already, check out my LinkedIn learning course. I have had incredible feedback. This is a course I have never been more proud of anything that I've done in terms of online training before. I know you'll enjoy it. And of course, if you haven't yet read The Courage Gap, that in itself may be a great place for you to start when it comes to looking at where is fear in all its self-protective guises keeping me from living and leading more bravely. Enjoy our conversation. Raj, great to have you on my podcast today.
Wonderful to be with you, Margie, as a fellow BK author and student of many of the same issues. Happy to be with you.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the title of your book, obviously, co-authored with you and with Nilima. Hopefully, I'm saying that now, Bahat. And I straight away thought I would love to chat to you about it because so much of the work that I do with leaders is kind of peeling back those layers that get in the way of them showing up authentically, really being on purpose and being far more, leading far more from their values than from kind of self-protective instincts. And so I'm just really curious, can you just share what's your journey that led you to writing a book on healing as so fundamental to us leading well?
Yeah, so this has been building for a while, I would say. I wrote a book in 2018 that came out in 2019 called The Healing Organization. And that was based on my observation that too many businesses create suffering as a side effect, so called, of the way they operate. They're burning their people out. People are experiencing high levels of stress. Heart attacks are 20% higher on Mondays. That 120,000 Americans die from stress connected to work. The 600,000 Chinese die every year from too much work. So there's a world in which, in order to make money, we are willing to hurt people in their well-being. Literally, we're literally hurting people and killing people to make money. And I said, I don't think we have to do that. And I absolutely refuse to be part of any institution that feels that we need to do that. So I set out to explore the opposite of that. Are there businesses that in fact create more healing as they operate, that people are stronger at the end of the day than they are at the beginning of the day, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially? That these businesses are reducing suffering and bringing more joy into the world. And with that hypothesis, I found about 25 companies that were good examples of that, and I wrote about that. So that was kind of the backdrop. And then as I was getting into I'd done my research, I was getting into the writing of that book. And I'd interviewed some of my friends and others who were aware of it. 4 women friends of mine basically asked me the same question, which is, you're writing a book about healing. Have you focused on your own healing? And my initial response was, well, I don't have time for that. I have a book deadline. This book is due October 5th. And so I had the entire summer mapped out with a series of writing retreats. And I said, no, you need to work on your own healing if you're going to write about healing. And I said, well, I think I'm okay. And I said, no, you need to work on, so, we know you, right? There are definitely things that need to be healed. And so I had the good sense to listen to them. And that began a really incredible period for me. About 6 months out of that year that I devoted to a lot of these healing experiences. I call it my year of conscious awakening. Well, I said yes to many things I had already said no to. So one of them was going to the Himalayas with my co-author on this book and co-author on a previous book called Shakti Leadership, Nilima Bhatt. So she organizes these spiritual journeys all over the world. And that year she was taking a group to Ladakh, which is on the border of India and Tibet in China.
Yes. Yes.
And it's the seat of some of the deepest Buddhist wisdom, as you can imagine, that part of the world. So I said yes to that. That's where I had my 60th birthday. Yeah, that was the other thing. That was the year I was turning 60. And that's a pretty big milestone, I think, in the human life. It's kind of the end of the second act and the beginning of the final act. So how do you make sense of what you have experienced and learned? And how can you build on that for the remainder of your life, as well as to help others understand things? And so I had my 60th birthday there. And I had a lot of incredible learnings about suffering and about healing from the Buddhist tradition. I said yes to a silent retreat in upstate New York, which is an incredible experience. If you haven't done silence, any extended period of silence, it's really a time to tune in as well as connect to source and receive wisdom that you otherwise, your mind is too scattered to really be able to access. And in those 4 days of silence in upstate New York, I had about 45 pages of notes. I mean, I was just walking around in nature and capturing my thoughts. And essentially the outline for this book that we are going to talk about today came to me, the 7 steps came in that, alongside many other things as well. I also worked with a coach for the first time, and that was a pretty profound experience. She helped me reframe my life and understand it in a whole different way. And then I also went to the Amazon rainforest with a group called the Pachamama Alliance and Lynn Twist.
Well, yes, I know Lynn Twist. She's been on this podcast too. Yeah,
Wonderful.
she
Isn't
is
she
wonderful. Yeah.
as Lynn has written the foreword to this new book, actually. And so I had interviewed her about the idea of healing in business. And the next day she called me and said, Raj, you were in my dream last night. And the message I got from the shamans in Ecuador is that you need to be on this trip, that you're going to learn more about healing in 10 days than you would in 5 years of research. And so, of course, I had to say yes. So I spent those incredible 10 days there with the Achua and the Zapara people, and having all these shamanic healing experiences, including an ayahuasca journey. And within that, I received so much wisdom as well about healing. So that was kind of the precipitating period for me, and it led to this book, and also led me to go on my own journey of healing myself. I discovered traumas that I had buried, some of which I had no actual memory of, and others had to refresh my memory or actually tell me what actually happened in those situations. And so it was part of my healing, which I have also written about in my memoir. I did a book called Awaken, coming out of that, The Paths to Purpose, Inner Peace, and Healing. And that was my own journey. It's the first time I actually wrote about myself in any of my books, interestingly. And and then I decided to also write this book on this the 7 steps, right? So that's all part of that same experience over the last 5-6 years.
So it's interesting to me how much your own inner journey of healing parts of you that you didn't even realize needed healing was so foundational to writing this book, but also to the growth you've had, but the impact you've made since then. And it aligns, Raj, with my own work where I have found it is, the more we grow and work on ourselves, that inner development impacts outer impact, how much we can influence others in positive ways. And sometimes until we've done that, we can, without even realizing it, be acting in ways that are very counterproductive. So I'm just curious there in terms of just even your own identity, how you saw yourself before your year of turning 60 with all of those incredibly profound experiences. How was that confronting to your identity? And what's your experience when it comes to leaders acknowledging that maybe there's something in me that needs to be healed, given that you found yourself a little resistant?
Yeah, I think most of us tend to minimize our own experiences, our own wounds, traumas, because we say something like, well, I didn't go to Vietnam and I didn't go to Afghanistan and I didn't go to Iraq and I was not a first responder. Why should I complain about my challenges or my traumas? Because other people have it so much worse. And that's always true. There's always somebody who has worse trauma than you. But that doesn't mean that your experiences are irrelevant. The fact is that they are impacting you, whether you recognize it or not. And if you don't recognize it, then you will not be in charge of your own words, your own actions, your impacts that you have on others, and of course on yourself as well. So it's a tremendously important act for somebody to do that inquiry and work on themselves so that they can have a positive impact on other people and also experience greater happiness and fulfillment in their own life. So I think that's a hurdle that all of us need to get over, because we tend to minimize what has happened to us in many
Yeah.
cases.
That's my own experience too. I did a program. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Hoffman process. Yeah. And I did their week-long program in 2019. And I did it partly just because I was curious. It wasn't that anything was dramatically terrible. Some people's lives have got some major crises. And I went in there and I remember going in thinking, I'm just curious to see what I'll get from this. But I know they really zero in on your early childhood experiences. And I got in there and like, well, I was raised in a home, I had a mother and father that loved each other, that loved me, but it was fascinating for me with a whole week dedicated to those wounds and those experiences that we internalize as a young child in a way that is traumatic, and there's some scar tissue. So to your point, I think exactly that. You don't have to have grown up in a incredibly difficult and traumatic, family where there's a lack of love, etc. We can all have something etched into us, even when we've grown up in what might seem like a really
Oh, yeah.
loving environment.
Yes, every normal childhood goes through, typically, children will go through these three very common traumas, right? The first one typically is I don't belong. The first time you get rejected by your friends, pushed out of the sandbox, or whatever it is. The imprint on you is I don't belong. And therefore, the need to belong becomes almost a mechanism, a survival mechanism. The first time you hear your parents express any kind of disappointment in you, which routinely happens, right? They might say, "Why can't you be like your brother?" Or why are you like this?" Whatever it might be. And so the imprinting there is, I'm not enough the way I am. Parental approval is very vital, right? That need for, as Gabor Mate talks about, authenticity versus attachment. If I cannot be myself, or if being myself is not enough, then that's a traumatic thing. And then the third one is I am alone. When you start to recognize that, yeah, you really are responsible for your own upkeep and your own well-being. So these are all things that happen routinely, I think, to most of us, and they are normal, but that doesn't mean that we don't have to work on them, and there's still something that's causing us to then become a people pleaser or become a
Yeah.
perfectionist, or
Yeah.
so many other kind of reactions that we have to those kinds of experiences. And then, of course, there's many other more serious individualized traumas that can happen. I talk about 4 kinds of trauma: personal trauma, bad things that happen to you that should not have happened, beyond these 3 that I just talked about, or good things that should have happened that did not happen. Receiving unconditional love and acceptance, for example, right? Or being held physically as a child. And so orphans often have not had that, right? When they are taken away. And then, of course, there's family trauma, things that happened to your parents before you were born. So you did not experience that directly, but you grew up in the shadow of that, or in the energy system created by that trauma, and certainly impacted you. Then there's, of course, ancestral trauma. Through epigenetics, we're learning that things that happened multiple generations ago are still actually impacting you today through gene expression. Any irrational fears that you might have, some of that could be rooted in epigenetics in previous generations. And then there's the collective trauma of our world. Between the pandemic, between all of the environmental issues, climate change, these are all traumatic things that are affecting almost all of humanity. And again, we minimize all of these things at our own peril, because we have to acknowledge them. As we say, you have to reveal it and feel it in order to heal it. Most of us tend to deny it, and then we numb it with all the coping mechanisms that our consumer society provides us, right? From escapism, entertainment, to drugs, to alcohol, to anything. But that doesn't result in any kind of healing, and then we end up back where we were.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to take this on, then there's a beautiful gift on the other side of that, which is called post-traumatic growth.
Mm-hmm.
You are stronger now because you had a trauma and you healed it, than somebody who never had the trauma in the first place. Because you
Yes.
develop this inner strength as a result of that. It's like the Japanese metaphor of kintsugi.
Yes.
They are the precious scars. You put
Yes.
back.
Yes. I've long thought it's our adversity introduces us to ourselves. We
Wow.
we
Yeah.
discover aspects of who we are through those difficult experiences that test us so much that we might not if everything just went so beautifully. And that's to your point. And I know, and I've shared before in this podcast, my own experience of post-traumatic growth through some pretty difficult experiences I had even in my 20s. But just I said what you said a moment ago. You have to feel it. You have to
Reveal
reveal
it
it and feel it to heal it.
in order to begin to heal it.
Yeah.
Just revealing and feeling doesn't heal it, but that's the beginning. Nothing can be healed unless it is talked about, unless it is brought out into the open. I've chosen to write about it in books and talk about it everywhere, But at the very, very least, you have to be able to confront it and talk about it, not only to yourself, but to
Yeah.
others,
Yeah.
to parents, maybe therapists,
Yeah.
without that, there's no healing. It doesn't happen. As James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. So we have to actually be able to face up to what actually happened.
Yes.
Or what really
Yes.
happened, yeah.
And
And that gives you the short-term low of experiencing that pain again and revisiting the painful experience. But then you get the long-term high of being healed, being released, and growing from it, and
yeah.
becoming then a source of healing for others in the world.
No, absolutely. And I know that, in the 7 steps principles really that you share in healing leaders, the 7th that, kind of culminates in when we've done our own work, because it starts with us, but it doesn't finish with us. And it's how do we then have the goodness and the gifts and the healing and the love that we can bring to the world really help serve others in many different ways. So I'd love to just go through with you those 7 steps. And I know we're not going to do any of them justice. That's why I encourage people to read this book, because it's so profound and so needed for this time. But the first one being know yourself. Share with me, why that is the foundational first step.
Yeah, well, so many people have talked about that, right? I mean, to know yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, ultimately. The fact is that each one of us is unique. There's 8 billion of us alive today. 109 billion, by some estimates, have been born and lived and died before us. So on those 117 billion people, no two are alike. Every one is unique, because nature does not create duplicates. So every human being is unique in a variety of different ways. And so we have to know what that is if we are to live an authentic life. So we have to know ourselves down to our core. You could think about it as layers of identity. The outer layer is, of course, all of the demographics, right? I'm an engineer and I'm an Australian and I'm a Catholic and I'm a whatever, right? All of those kinds of things. Um, those are just external tags that we have acquired. But you go below that, and then you understand there's some values that we've picked up along the way as we experience life and we reacted to life in different ways and recognize what really mattered to us. But we can go further than that and identify what were some of the core qualities that we came here with. We are born at a very early age, even before we know what values mean, but there are certain things that define each of us. Right? Some of us are very trusting, some of us are very peace loving, or some of us might be very sensitive, whatever it is. So understanding that unique set of qualities, what is my nature? And then below that, of course, is the core self, which is something that is quite common to all of us. I mean, there's a core identity, core self, right? Where we are all connected, but beyond that, we have all these other dimensions as well. So understanding all of those levels of yourself and recognizing that the identity elements that are the ones that typically most define us. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm conservative, I'm liberal, and all of those things, they end up becoming walls between us and divide us. So we strongly urge people to hold your identity lightly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not who you are. Those are just things that happen to you and you acquired along the way. That's not your essence. So get down to your essence. Who am I? What makes me tick? So that's a big step. And then the next step, of course, is love yourself. Now, it is not automatic that if you do know yourself, you're going to love yourself. For a lot of us, including me, it took me decades actually to make that leap from knowing to loving, because I saw myself reflected in my father's eyes. So as a young child, I didn't really know exactly who I am, what I am. But my father came back into my life when I was 7 years old. I didn't know my father until I was 7, because he was away getting his PhD in Canada. And he saw me as this kid who was like the opposite of him. We come from this warrior caste in India, and there's a very sort of aggressive, hyper masculine, patriarchal, feudal mindset in that subculture. And my father is very much off that. And I was brought up by my mother. I'm more like her by nature as well as by nurture. And so he saw this kid who was very idealistic, very trusting, sensitive. Um, and kind of in my head, I was good at school, but, um, So his messaging to me was, you cannot trust anybody, and you're too idealistic. You need to be pragmatic, and you're too peace loving. You need to be rough and tough, and you're good in school, but that doesn't matter. You need to be street smart. And so the messaging I got was that all of these things are weaknesses. They're
Yeah.
liabilities.
You are well and truly not enough was a message you got.
Yeah. And I need to be the opposite. Not only not enough, but I need to flip it and be the opposite of it, not just have more. It's one thing to say, I just need to be more of what I already am. But I need to be the opposite of who I am. So for decades, I really had almost a self loathing. Like, why am I so defective? It took me a long time to recognize those things are actually my essential qualities. Those are my strengths. That the world needs me to bring that element of trusting and idealism and harmony and peace loving, and all of those elements are part of my gift to bring through my work.
I know also part of that is embracing the shadows that we sometimes want to hide, those parts that we've decided shouldn't get the light of day and others we don't want others to know about us. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think I didn't really explore that very explicitly. I mean, I became aware of that work later on, but I know that every strength also has kind of its counterpart, right? So if you are too trusting, trusting is good. Being idealistic is good. Being peace loving, but if you're too much of any of those things, then you end up experiencing the downside of that. Right? That's how I think about it. So if you go too far with any strength, overuse becomes a weakness. You're too trusting, then you become over naive and maybe get taken advantage of in some ways. If you're too idealistic, then you become impractical. If you're peace loving, then you're willing to put up with things that are not acceptable and so forth. So I think those are some of, to me, the elements that are the shadows of those strengths.
Uh-huh.
That there can be a negative side of to that as well.
Step 3, be yourself.
Yeah. So the third one is to be yourself. So once you know yourself and love yourself, your job is really to lean into who you are and be that person fully. There's a parable about somebody who looks up to God and says, God, make me like Moses. And God says, I already have a Moses. I need you to be you, right? So we are most equipped to be the fullest version of ourselves.
Yeah.
But most of us are putting on masks all the time, right? We have different
Yeah. Well,
personas.
and I also think in the world we're in today, I mean, this has always been there, a pressure to want to fit in and belong, as you talked about, as one of those early things, that there's this tension between becoming and expressing ourselves, who we are, but
Right.
also in competition almost with this fear of if people know that I might be rejected, I mightn't belong. So it sets up this kind of tug of war for people. How do people rise above that fear of not belonging?
Yeah, so I think that is also something many of us have to overcome from childhood, because as Gabor Mate beautifully talks about, it's about authenticity and attachment. That human beings have these two very primal needs. Attachment, because we are born the most helpless of all creatures. There's probably no other life form that is born as incapable of supporting itself as a human baby, right? So in a way, we are born before we're ready. And it takes us almost a year to be able to hold our own neck or head up, right? Our neck isn't strong enough. And so we are utterly reliant on others for our very survival. And therefore, attachment is a primal need. We have to have that attachment, otherwise we die. But then authenticity is also very important. We have to be able to express what we're feeling, be able to convey what we're seeing, etc. That also can lead to, that can be a life and death thing too, if you see danger, but you don't say what you're seeing, right? So being authentic, true to yourself, is also very important. And the two should not be in conflict. In a healthy family, you can be who you are and you will still be loved regardless. You can have a tantrum, you can scream things, whatever it is, but you're still loved. Now, if you don't feel that safety within the family system, that you have to conform in order to be accepted, then you have to sacrifice one of the two. So you end up sacrificing your authenticity for attachment, right? So in my case, because I wanted my father's approval, I basically tried to become the son that he wanted me to be. I tried to be the opposite, right? I became overly aggressive and overly cynical and overly, all those things, right? And that wasn't me. I was trying to fit into somebody else's projection. So authenticity and attachment need to coexist. And there's a wonderful little article called "The Dangers of the Good Child." That the inner sorrows and future difficulties of the so-called good child begin with their need for excessive compliance.
Mm.
Feel they have to
I have
please.
not read that article, but that sounds like one, and I can think of numerous people I'd love to share that with. You know?
It's a very powerful little piece. So I'm happy to send that to you. It's from the School of Life. There's a podcast.
Yeah.
Right? And I, looking back, I said, wow, I was one of those kids because I never ever gave trouble. I always did my homework and my room was neat. I helped my mom make dinner every night and I never fought with my siblings and I would change my brother's diaper. See, even now in 68 years, I have 67 years, I've never had a fight with my siblings. And now I recognize that there's something unhealthy about that, right? That you're not willing to actually express your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. They're meant to move through us and be expressed. Because if you swallow your emotions and hide them and just put on a mask, those emotions don't disappear. They go inside you and they metastasize and they show up later as chronic pain in your body or they show up as disease as well, right? So emotions have to be expressed, but in a healthy way. We have to learn how to be able to do that and then move past them. So that's a very important element of being yourself is being able to be authentic and still know that you're loved. And if you're not, then that's not a healthy relationship. Right? Then you have to sacrifice who you are in order to stay in that relationship. Or with your parents, if you still have that dynamic, that has to be dealt with as well. And so that's one of the big elements of being yourself, letting go of the masks. Most of us are different people at work, different people with the person we report to, or the people who report to us. And we're somebody else with our spouse, and somebody else with our children, and somebody else with our friends, and somebody else with our parents. We have all these different personas. So let all of that go and just be you at all times. But for that, you have to be comfortable with who you are, which is why it comes after knowing yourself and loving yourself, right? You have to come to that place not only of self acceptance, self compassion, and self forgiveness, but really self appreciation and
One of a prayer slash poem slash writing I found a few years back by Pierre de Chardin, I believe. Yes, I'm probably butchering his name pronunciation, but in it he talks about making peace with those parts of you that are incomplete and in suspense. And
Mhm.
I think I've loved that. I found it actually, it was my mum's. I found it after she had passed away, because within me, I know there are parts of me that I'm like, I just wished I was done. And I'm still struggling with this. And here I am in my 50s and I still haven't nailed it. And to just be able to extend some compassion, grace, love inward to ourselves
Yeah.
is just, I think, one of the most important things we can ever learn to do, and to forgive ourselves for the parts of us that are still
Mm.
incomplete.
Yeah, no, it's such an important piece and such a challenging one. The estimates are that 80 to 90% of people do not love themselves. And if you don't love yourself, then it's very hard for you to receive the love of another because you feel like you're not worthy of your own love. So why would you be worthy of somebody else's love? It just means that they don't know you. That's why they think they love you. And then if you don't love yourself, you don't take care of yourself. So why do so many of us abuse our own bodies and abuse our own minds? But we eat and what we consume information wise, right? Because there's no self care.
I also see that in how much people will sacrifice what they need for their own wellness on the altar of busyness and productivity and achievement and, on and off planes and in and out of meetings and skipping sleep. And then eventually it catches up. Eventually it catches up.
So, you are your own most important stakeholder. Your first duty is to your well-being. But many of us are brought up in a way that you're supposed to sacrifice yourself for others. And that's a noble thing. But if you don't build this, right, if you don't make yourself as strong and healthy and well functioning as possible, you can't have the impact in the world
Yeah. Yeah.
that needs
Which
for
which
that.
really brings us to the next step, which is on choosing yourself, which is really around self-authorship, which I think is so important in it, and what it is to be the author of your life and self-authorship. Can you just expand on that?
Yeah, so choosing yourself, the initial idea for that came to me at that silent retreat.
Huh?
because you're not allowed to communicate in any way, not through gestures, not through pointing, not through anything. The idea is to be totally inward. And so when it was mealtime and you went to the dining area and you had your tray and there were people behind the counter and there were 4 or 5 things that had been cooked. You're not supposed to say, give me this, but not that, right? You just put your tray there and they put food in your tray. Right? Now, it occurred to me that this is a pretty good metaphor for life because there's no buffet in life that you can go and take what you want, or there's no menu that you can order from to say, I'll have this kind of mother and this kind of father, and I'll be born into this religion and in this socioeconomic group, in this country, at this point in history, and I'll have this kind of education. None of it, right? You get all of that, right? You're given a tray full of stuff. And that's your life curriculum. You're meant to have all of that. And some of it looks unappetizing, and some of it tastes bitter. But it's really, you need all of it. It's all there for a reason. And so I realized that you cannot change your past, but you might as well choose it because then you're no longer a victim of your own life. I used to, for a long time, say, well, why did I have such a distant and harsh father who never picked me up, never said, I love you? You know, my friends' fathers are so kind and so nice and gentle and so forth. So I was in that mode. Why was I born into that hyper aggressive, misogynistic, warrior caste, extended family? All of those kinds of things, you end up feeling like a victim of your own life. And at some point, I realized that I had to experience those because, for example, I had to experience the abuse of the feminine within that system, which was rampant. The women in the family, as well as the women workers, etc., were tremendously oppressed in that system. And I had to, as a child, witness that so that I would write a book about the feminine 50 plus years later. I got sensitized to something and that planted a seed which eventually showed up as some important work that I needed to do. But if I didn't have that childhood, I would not have that sensitivity to do that work. So in that way, you start to draw the lines to say everything, the most challenging experiences, the most challenging people actually were some of the biggest gifts because they started to steer you and shape you in ways that you needed so that you would come here and fulfill your destiny.
I think that is I want to just underscore that because so often we can find ourselves feeling like a victim to circumstances, whether it's starting out to the parents that we had, the socioeconomic, setting that we were raised in, to, a partner that was unkind, to kids, to just life. And I think we live in a culture that often fosters that sense of victimhood and making that distinction between being a victim of something, which I think all of us are in some way or another, but operating from a victim mindset versus which siphons the very agency we need to author our lives,
Right.
which is what you're getting at.
Exactly. Yeah. So in this way, faith starts to become destiny. You start to harness it in order to become the person you're meant to be and do the work that you're meant to do. But if you reject all of that, then you will never learn all of the nuggets from those challenging people and challenging circumstances. So I can't change my past. I might as well choose it so then it can serve me. And then I say, choose your present. What do you mean by that? Most of us have this tendency of looking at our lives and saying what's lacking. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, right? And we don't recognize and appreciate all the things that are there, all the incredible gifts that we have received that we never earned and we don't deserve and we are not even grateful for. Right? So we go through a process in our workshop where we take people through this visualization of saying, okay, everything that you didn't personally earn, that you don't actually deserve, and you're not even grateful for, we're going to take out of your life, including all of your 5 senses and including all the incredible technology and including all the other life forms and everything, right? And then you realize how desolate life becomes when you take away all those things. And then you start to put them back together in that visualization. And then by the end of it, people are in tears and say, oh my God, I have so much to be grateful for. So to live in that constant perpetual state of deep gratitude is so important. Just being alive as a human being at this point in history with freedom. For many of us, access to so many things, resources, right? So cultivating that gratitude as your default state, and then choosing your future, which is saying yes to the hero's journey.
Yeah.
You can hear that call to adventure that's calling you now to shake out of the normal, static patterns that you're in, and actually heed that call to adventure and be willing to sacrifice that safety and security and go out and experience something new and then grow in that process and have to slay the dragons and confront your deepest fears and have the courage. That's where courage comes in. Right? It's not that you're not afraid, but you do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joseph Campbell said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasures that you seek."
Uh-huh. That that
You
quote that quote is in my last book. So
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. So courage is the prime virtue of all. And
Yeah.
so that does require you to choose. Because you can say, I'm going to remain a caterpillar for the rest of my life, or I'm going to actually go through the painful but ultimately incredibly rewarding process of becoming that butterfly. Right? And you have to die to your old self, right? If you're a caterpillar, to become that butterfly. Now, in the case of the caterpillar, they have no choice. Nature makes them go through that, right? It turns on a switch. We humans are in control of our own switches. We are in charge of our own mutation, our own evolution. So we have to be willing to say yes. So choosing that hero's journey, to say yes to that, and being willing to take the risks that go along with it so that you can grow, because we are meant to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying.
It brings to mind a quote by Anne Nin, and it is that, and then the day arrived that the risk of remaining tight inside the bud became greater than the risk it took to blossom.
That's right. Yeah. And that risk is the tragedy of an unfulfilled life, an unrealized life, an unexpressed life. I mean, I forget who said it, but there's most human beings in history have been born and they lived and they died with their music still inside them. They never had the opportunity to give the gifts that they came here with. Because for most of human history, we lived in extreme abject poverty and illiteracy. So how many Einsteins and Beethovens and Shakespeare's were born and they lived and they died without ever having that. It's like a seed. A seed can become bird food or it can become a giant oak tree, right? And most human seeds have died as bird food. They just died as without that potential. But today, with that awareness and the opportunities, we can actually become who we are capable of being. So that is choose yourself, choose your past, present, and future. And then the next one is, I'm sorry, were we already in?
Yes, yes, yes. Express yourself using your
Yeah.
unique gifts.
And
Hmm.
expressing yourself now is taking that hero's journey towards something specific, which is your purpose, right? So expressing your gifts and your talents and your strengths and all the things that we have, and then doing that in service of something greater than
And
ourselves.
and and I see something that gets in the way of people doing that is because they compare their gifts to other people's. And they say, and anytime we do that, it diminishes
Right.
ourselves. If
Right.
I'm saying, "Oh, but Raj is such a brilliant academic, and I'm not as good at that as he is," it diminishes the gift that I have to bring. And I see people doing that, so I just wanted to call that out for anyone in listening. Anytime you find yourself in that comparison mode, like every moment you spend comparing, you're not actually using your gifts for the highest good.
That's right. And we live in a society that's constantly ranking us and putting us in percentile. You came in first or second or whatever. And somehow it's like, I can only succeed if somebody else fails, relatively speaking. The fact that each of us is unique means each of us has our own unique ways in which we are geniuses. And it may not be the standardized test that measures IQ, which is very particular one kind of intelligence, right? There's many, many kinds of intelligence. So I agree with you completely. Every human being is special. Every human being is a masterpiece. Every human being is a genius in multiple dimensions. There's one new theory I heard a few years ago that there's 168 kinds of intelligence. Howard Gardner had his 8 kinds of
Yes,
intelligence.
yes.
But there's very many more than that. And every one of us is a genius at least a dozen of those.
Yeah.
And we are complete zeros on maybe 40 of them, and we're somewhere in the middle on the rest. So recognizing that unique, configuration of incredible strengths, that is what we have to work with, and it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So that's about the purpose, and there's a lot of work done on purpose, but it's very, very important, of course. And we talk about 3 different ways: there's experiential, there's intellectual, and there's spiritual pathways to purpose. And we try to integrate those in the book as well. Spiritual is you hear a calling from God. For some people, that is the primary path. Intellectually, you just go through that ikigai and what am I good at, and very analytically come with something. And then experientially, you go through life and say, what breaks my heart and what brings me great joy. It's somewhere in that following your heartbreak and following your bliss. Somewhere in there is your purpose to alleviate that suffering, reduce that heartbreak, and more of that bliss, right? And so we have a process. We help people try to figure out their purpose.
Which is what obviously post-traumatic growth, that is facilitated when we can find a way to channel what we've experienced that
Right.
will serve the world in some way, that taps into a sense of purpose and it's meaningful.
That's right. And as Viktor Frankl says, find meaning in your suffering. Right? If we all suffer, and if we can figure out a way to reduce that same suffering for others in the world, that itself is deeply meaningful. So that gives that suffering now some meaning, right? So that's often a pathway to purpose. You become now the healer, the wounded healer that helps people deal with those things that you've already gone through. And then the next one is complete yourself. And by that we mean that most of us, we are all born, with these multiple dimensions to us. We all come from a mother and a father. So we have the masculine and feminine within us, regardless of gender. Right? We're equal parts masculine and feminine energy inside. Not equal, but yeah, we have them both in full measure. But then we get confined by our genders in many cases. Right? That men have to be locked into this narrow box of masculine energy, and women have to have this. And then that becomes deeply self-limiting because our ultimate destination is to wholeness. There's in the Indian tradition, as you know, we have many gods for everything, right? There's a god that symbolizes everything. So there's one particular depiction of God which is half male, half female. It's called the Ardhanareshwar. So on the left side is the masculine, Shiva, all the strength and beauty and grace and all of that of the masculine. The other side is the feminine. And it's got all of the beauty and the courage and the grace and everything of the feminine. The idea is that we are born with genders for reproductive reasons, but our journey in this lifetime is towards becoming a whole person, which means tough-minded and tender-hearted,
Mm-hmm.
strong and loving. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be one or the other. We live in this polarized way of thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either all masculine or all feminine. No, you actually the most beautiful human beings are both. There's a combination there, right? And then we have two other dimensions, which is the higher self, your divine self, elder energy, and then there's the child energy. And if you can have access to your own inner child, the healthy inner child, unfortunately, most of us have a lot of wounded inner child energy inside us. But if you can liberate that healthy inner child, then that gives you joy and laughter and playfulness and creativity and innovation. They all come from that. So what we do is help people cultivate all four of those energies simultaneously, recognizing where they are over-indexed and what they have neglected to develop, and to become ultimately what we call the wise fool of tough love.
The wise fool of tough love.
Yes.
I love that.
You've got the wisdom of the elder, the foolishness of a child, and the toughness of the masculine and the unconditional love of the feminine, all within you, regardless of whether you're a man, woman, young or old.
Yeah.
Right? And I think everyone, if you think about the Dalai Lama, if you think about Desmond Tutu, if you think about Gandhi, so many of these leaders very much had those qualities: incredibly wise, incredibly playful, very strong, always rooted in love. Right? We can all.
Always rooted in love. I want to, sorry, I'm jumping in, but I think that point, I spent some time with Richard Rohr
Mm,
last year.
yeah.
And
Mm,
and for those who don't know Richard Rohr, he is he's a priest,
interesting.
essentially a Catholic. I think he's a Benedictine. Um, but he said something that really aligns, and that's any belief system you have that does not point you toward love is misguided.
Yes,
If you
absolutely.
pull it all apart, love has to be such a
Absolutely. Yes.
foundational piece.
So, in fact, in my ayahuasca experience in the Amazon rainforest with the shamans, I got many beautiful visions that night. But one of the central ones was I was shown this word, and the voice in my head was saying, "This is what the world needs in order to heal." And here's the list. LIST was the acronym. And then each letter came into focus. L for love. Every single thing we do in life should come from love. Not anger, not fear, not greed, not jealousy. Too many business decisions come from fear and greed. So many other things come from anger and jealousy and many other things. Can you make those same decisions from love? Because that's the only way we can heal is through love. In many ways, we can hurt each other. The only way to heal is through love. eye for innocence. We are all born innocent, pristine, the purest versions of ourselves, and then we get corrupted by the ways of the world. We learn to lie and cheat to get what we want. We use our intelligence to climb over each other, not to serve each other and to love each other. And as a child, you don't have a choice, but as an adult, you do have a choice, and therefore you must choose. Are you going to live in that corrupted state, or are you going to return to innocence? What does that mean? Living with the intention of not knowingly causing harm or suffering to another. Living with non-violence. I was just on a podcast yesterday with one of the world's leading Gandhi experts and the leading proponents of non-violence. That is the highest human quality, to be non-violent. So that's living with innocence. Simplicity. We make life too complicated. We get mired in the mud of complexity. Essential things are simple. Can we get to that simplicity on the other side of complexity, which is where true mastery resides? And then the truth. What is our commitment to the truth? We seem to have lost touch with the truth. And truth is fundamental. Gandhi's whole life was about the search for truth. The autobiography was my experiments with truth. And without truth, there can be no peace. If you think about South Africa at the end of apartheid, they had the Truth and Reconciliation Commission because there's no way to reconcile until you acknowledge the truth of what happened under apartheid, until you ask for forgiveness, until there's some atonement, there's some grace, right? All of that then allows you to move forward peacefully. Otherwise, you end up with revenge and
Well,
snares.
and there's so many examples of that, obviously everywhere, which really brings us, Raj, to the seventh, but the combination of all of this, which is turning our wounds into wisdom and that final step of healing ourselves. And I think that's an aspirational state for most of us because things often pop up that pull us back upstream. You know, we think we've done our work and we're on our way and we're trying to be loving and a source of goodness, and then stuff happens. But, you know, that final step of turning wounds into wisdom, to those who are listening and they're like, okay, I want to do all of this and I know it's going to be a lot of just inner journey here. What is it that you would just encourage people toward to help them turn their wounds into wisdom?
Well, first of all, understanding and recognizing what they are and why they're there. It's not your fault, right? A lot of people are ashamed of their traumas. They feel embarrassed to talk about it. And so, a lot of it grows in that darkness and that secrecy. Nothing can heal. So be able to talk about it and bring it into the open, as Mr. Rogers said, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. It doesn't matter what it is, how bad you think it is still within the realm of human experience, and we can deal with it. We are living at a time, in a way, a golden age for the ability to actually heal trauma. There are about 20 or so modalities available to us right now that are proving to be quite effective, actually. So we don't have to live with the after effects of whatever that trauma was, the wounds that created, that can be healed. And then, as we said, there's a gift on the other side that for yourself and for everybody you love and lead will have such a huge impact, right? Post-traumatic growth, that you now become this source of strength in the world and wisdom in the world and healing in the world because of that. So I urge people, it's not an easy thing to confront in the beginning, but we have to ask for help, recognize, yes, I have wounds. Things did happen to me that should not have happened, etc. Acknowledge all of that. Doesn't make your parents bad, or doesn't, it's not vilifying anybody. It's just saying it is what it is. People did what they did, based on what they knew. Your wounds are not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility.
I think that comes down to it. Our wounds aren't our fault, but our healing is our responsibility.
Yes.
And
And you do something about it, and the gifts are incredible on the other side, for
yeah,
every.
well, I just think about, Raj, what kind of world we'd be living in if those who are in power, whether it's in our organizations or those sitting in positions of political power,
Yes.
were not so wounded.
It is such an illustration. If you need any evidence of this, I mean, all the suffering in the world is inflicted by unhealed humans, leaders who somehow end up in leadership roles. And what is in here gets amplified, right? The macrocosm is a reflection of the microcosm. And you're seeing the consequences of that writ large throughout human history and today as well.
Yeah. Well, that's why your work is so important. So thank you for your time. It's why I do what I do as well. How do we help people to really live, lead, love from that highest place of love within them while tending to those those wounds and those that scar tissue that can so often keep us from
Mhm.
showing up as who it is we need to be right now. So thank you again for your time, for your work, and your commitment to your own healing.
You're very welcome, Marty. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I look forward to staying connected.
Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. And if so, I would love it if you'd take a moment to rate and review it. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you found it even a little bit encouraging, I'd like you to think about who in your life could do with a little encouragement right now. We are braver together than we can ever be alone. Take care. I'll see you again soon.